Yes, to do. He who writes remembers, right?
That's right.
And so, why did you take notes? Or who told you to take notes? Or how did it get to the point where you took notes? Why didn't
So
you just listen?
I met a guy because one of my clients was, well, actually two clients. One was Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. The other was Ohio State's hospital. And I met a guy who was a neuroscientist. And of course, I did okay in science, but I would never have considered myself a science-oriented person. But he told me many, many years ago that there is a mind-body connection to writing.
Yes.
And he said, when you write notes, you are essentially strengthening the connection between what you retain in your mind and what is actually, put before you.
Yes.
So to this day, I find it very hard to not write notes down.
Yeah.
Part of it is because as you get older, you do get forgetful, but it's largely because your brain has a lot of capacity, but sometimes you have to, empty it out like emptying the trash.
Yes.
But when you actually write things down, you can recall them. It's like putting them in a file cabinet to retrieve them.
Yeah.
So from that point forward, in every meeting I sat in, I wrote notes. Sometimes when my handwriting was good, I would write longhand notes. Other times I would just write bullet points, just things for me to remember. Mm-hmm. The hardest part of my professional career was when I worked for the United Negro College Fund, and the Honorable William H. Gray III, God rest his soul, was president. He was the first Black majority whip of the House of Representatives, and he was the first Black chair of the Budget Committee. He had a thing about not writing things down, and I realized years after that is because in politics, you don't want to leave too much of a paper trail.
No evidence.
That's a conversation for another day. Any of you who want to be politicians, just make a note of that. But that period of time was really hard for me because I wrote notes in every other meeting I was in, except when I was in meetings with him, because he saw that as a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
He also was concerned that, if you didn't understand it the first time, then you must not be able to get it.
Yeah.
So I suffered through those experiences, and now to this day, I continue to write. Sometimes I write on an iPad, but I really do prefer writing on notepads.